Today, I'm speaking with Megan Grant, amazing entrepreneur who actually started her business after having been laid off 4 times in 5 years. And she decided that was enough. And we're speaking about her business, how she grew her business, how she's qualifying leads, how to get a mindset of abundance. And I think it's a very inspiring conversation that I hope you're going to enjoy. Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Business of Meeting podcast. I'm Eric Rosenberg, and today I am extremely happy to actually meet somebody I've never met before, I've never heard of before, but she reached out for the questionnaire on the website for the podcast. And then I started looking what she's doing in her story. And I think her story is absolutely amazing and very inspiring. So please welcome Megan Grant. Thank you for taking the time today, Megan.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. So the first thing that I read is that the way you position yourself, I thought was very interesting. You said you've been laid off 4 times in 5 years and decided that now it was enough and it will never happen again. Can you tell us a little bit more about your background and how that happened?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is in writing, and that very naturally kind of expanded into marketing. So I was always working for the marketing departments of usually smaller companies. And ironically, in my experience, when a smaller company is struggling or sales are down, marketing is always the first one to get cut, which always seemed so backwards to me because I think, no, if you're struggling, you throw more money at marketing. That's just not how it went for me. I lost my jobs 4 times in about 5 years. And, I was a hard worker. I was doing good work, but I just couldn't hang on to a paycheck. And it's devastating. So after that 4th time, I thought, clearly this path is not working. I'm doing something wrong here. So I need to pivot. And I said, I'm never going to work for someone else again. And I decided to take my own freelancing, which I had already been doing on the side. And I went full time with that and built my own business.
Amazing. And when was that? Which year?
That was around 2016, 2017.
That's fabulous. So 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And here you are today. And you're still using your writing, but helping people. What is it exactly that you do?
So I still have my agency where I provide mostly writing services, but also a little bit of social media and then some email marketing. But then also I now work with other professionals to teach them how to grow their business like I did so that they can have that stability and that security.
That's awesome. And one thing that really transpired of everything you're doing today is the relationship and the importance of relationship. I saw that you have quite a significant number of videos, obviously writing. How do you build those relationships? And I have 2 sub-questions. Mm-hmm. How do you build a relationship in general? And how do you build your relationship to grow your audience while maintaining authenticity and that people don't, you're not looking for people just for the business, but true and meaningful relationship?
Yeah. So, the answer, it's kind of similar to both of those questions. For me, it's a ton of manual outreach, but then I also have some processes that kind of run in the background. So to give you an example, I'm very introverted. So my, tendency is to kind of go in my hole and write and do my work. But I finally got it through my thick skull, a few years back that you can't live like that. You can't work like that. So I thought, okay, I've got to put myself out there. And, sometimes it's something as simple and casual as tweeting someone like, hey, I read this blog you wrote, or I saw this thing you posted and I loved it. Great job. But other times it's me, I'm like creeping on people's social media profiles, and I'm on Instagram and YouTube and emailing people and just trying to form real, genuine relationships, because that's where it all starts. But you have to go at it with like a like a very genuine, authentic intention of, hey, I'm just trying to connect with you and provide value. That's always in my mind, provide value. It's this person, I think I have something to offer them or something that can help them, or we have something in common. And this has been something I'm very particular about, especially these days, because I feel like more and more we're losing that, how important it is to care about that human to human connection. And we want to automate everything. And some things can and should be automated, but some just can't. And nothing replaces that human to human, the bond.
Absolutely agree. Now you mentioned YouTube, Instagram, on different platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I get it. We don't have to automate, but in everything you do, how do you manage your time and how you organize yourself? Because I'm sure that every person in the meetings and event industry, which is now listening, said, okay, this is very nice, but where do I find the time? Which platform should I go on? Where should I focus my time?
That's a great question. So for me, from a very practical standpoint, I schedule out little time blocks for myself. So early in the morning, I'll give myself 10 to 15 minutes and I'll focus on Instagram. And I'm just looking at profiles I like, leaving comments, sending DMs. But also, if you are creating content in any capacity, you are essentially building up a library of resources, of value. And more I'm finding I'm relying on that content because people will message me and say, hey, I'm talking to a potential client. How do I blah, blah, blah? And I'll be like, oh, I've got a video on that. Here you go. And, let's stay in touch. Let me know if you have questions. But it's, so it's something that I built over time, but it allows you to kind of reach more people without having to do as much manual work. And I think that's just something that kind of happens organically as you go.
Excellent. When you started your company, you say it was already on the side. So how did you find the first customers?
When I was first, because as we said, I was always freelancing on the side just because I love writing. But when I realized, okay, I'm going to get more serious about it, at the time, I didn't know anything about being a business owner. I just knew how to write. So I thought, okay, I need a client. And so I think I got one of my first clients by tweeting them. I tweeted them. And I was like, I'm Megan, I want to blog for you. And they were like, oh, sure, send us a DM. And then I got the editor's email and it just went from there. So in a way, it kind of points to what we're talking about forming relationships, because I wasn't really trying to sell them. I just really wanted to work with them. I liked this brand and it worked out for me. But it's funny looking back on it, it was almost so simple and so easy that I look at it now and I'm like, how did that even work?
And after that, so you got several customers. What is it, word of mouth or your channel? How did it work for you?
There was a little word of mouth. I take every client very seriously. That thankfully they're usually happy to refer me. But in the beginning, I started with job boards and bidding sites, which didn't last long because I kind of saw that they weren't the right path for me. But it was really just a ton of trial and error. At the time, I didn't know how to go out and learn how to land clients. I didn't even really know what I was doing at the time. I didn't know what it meant to build a business. I just knew that I needed to make money. So I was just digging and trying everything I could think of. And, the job boards, bidding sites, email, LinkedIn. And over the years, I kind of refined that process to find what consistently works for me. And now I focus entirely on that. But it was all manual outreach. It was just me hustling every day.
So what does work for you? You said that you're focusing now on what is working for you. What does work for you?
So now I use a combination of LinkedIn and warm emailing, not cold emailing. So I start with that connection with a human being on LinkedIn and form this relationship. And then I say, I'm really interested in working with you. Can I email you to talk more? And then we take the conversation to email. But I used to do cold emailing, which it absolutely works. It's a lot more of a numbers game. But I found that by adding in that one step with LinkedIn, by talking to another person and just having a conversation, I was able to close a lot more.
Yeah. And in the mindset also is extremely important. I know you mentioned in the document when we prepared that you had this mindset of abundance. Mm-hmm. How did you develop that? And especially today when we're living in the world of COVID and what's going on, how do you maintain a mindset of abundance?
It's not always easy. In the beginning, it came kind of, I want to say, out of necessity, like out of survival, because when I was first looking for writing work on job boards and bidding sites, the pay is generally terrible, which is why I tell writers not to use them anymore. But, it's people wanting to pay you like $5 or $10 for a job. And I thought, I can't pay my bills on this. And it puts you in this place of panic where you're like, no one's ever going to pay me what I want. I'm never going to make the money I want. There's too much competition. And that's coming from a mindset of lack, of scarcity. So I thought, okay, we're on the wrong track here. I have to go someplace else where there's more money, more work, less competition. And you just keep drilling into your own head. There's plenty of work. There are plenty of clients willing to pay me what I want. And it's true. You're not just, playing tricks on your mind. It's true. You just have to find them. You have to take a different path and find them. And really, when you start to shift from that place of lack to one of abundance, it's like the whole world opens up to you.
And you also look at your numbers, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big geek with my numbers. That's the only way. I know a lot of people, especially in more kind of like traditionally artistic fields like writing, you start talking about numbers and writers, their eyes glaze over. But you can't build a business without knowing your numbers, your conversion rates, your open rates, your sales call success rate, stuff like that. How do you know if what you're doing is working if you're not measuring it?
You have a dashboard that you use for your business?
I've got many spreadsheets.
So when you said at the beginning you didn't have any background in business, you just knew that you need a client. How did you learn it, and how did you develop all those dashboards that you're using today?
It was a lot of trial and error, Googling. I'll get on Google and I'll be like, how to track your metrics. And I'll read everything on page one and pick the parts that work for me and discard the rest. And just finding what resonates, what works with my brain. But, admittedly, it took me longer to get here than it probably needed to, because I'm a very, very hard worker. But one of the biggest lessons I've learned in growing a business is that it's not just about working hard, it's about working smart. And if you can do something in 2 hours or 10 minutes and get the same results, why would you not do it in 10 minutes? I would do it in 2 hours. So it was, needing to find shortcuts to better manage my time, be more efficient. And again, a lot of that goes back to following the numbers. I actually started timing my work because I needed to see, okay, where's my time going? How profitable is it? Is it profitable enough to be spending that much time on it? No. Okay, something has to change. Mm-hmm. And you just become a scientist, you become a detective, and you start looking at everything.
You're using a specific tool to track your time?
I think I used, is it called Toggle?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And you can even just search online timer in Google, and it has a timer.
So everything you've learned, and obviously you've learned a lot, and you're now you have your own system, which works very well for you. Everything you did was on your own?
Within the last 5 or 6 months, I enrolled in a program to help me with more technical stuff, like setting up email automations, building landing pages. So I got help with that. And then I've taken like free online courses, like free downloads. I've consumed a ton. So It wasn't just me like making it all up as I go and reinventing the wheel. But there was never anyone like sitting down saying, okay, this is how you do this. And this is how you do this. Like it was just soaking up everything I could get my hands on. So yeah, I learned from a lot of people. I honestly couldn't even tell you who at this point though, because it's me just Googling what I need help with.
Yeah, that's one of the things I always suggest to people I'm coaching is that to create your own advisory board.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a big word, but it can be people that you knew from school, or that you knew that are in the business or different business, but basically a group of people that you trust, that you can reach out to, and that you know that it will genuinely tell you what they think from their experience, and obviously you'll make your own decision. And it's fascinating how few people actually do that. You just have to ask. The only answer you can get is a no, but there's so many people that you can tap in that are always willing to support, and then you can help them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's such a great tip, because, we were talking about building relationships earlier on, and especially working from home, which a lot of us are doing right now, and especially trying to build your own business. Sometimes it can feel like you're really alone, but none of us are. We have the world at our fingertips. Mm-hmm. We can access anything within seconds. Another great lesson I learned is, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So now I always ask, and I always tell people, ask for help. Like 9 times out of 10, if someone emails me or messages me saying, hey, I need a blah, 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 how do I go about this? I'll help them, because why not? Like, we have to stick together.
Yes, absolutely right. Now, when you are working like that and you reach out to people, how do you know, or how do you qualify the people you're reaching out to? How do you qualify the leads that you have and make sure that you are hopefully spending the right amount of time with the right prospect?
Are we talking about in terms of my agency work?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason I'm asking this question, based on your experience, is I think that can help anybody, especially business owners in the meetings and event industry, reaching out for prospect.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because a lot of the misconception is that everyone is a potential customer or a potential client. They're not. So if you're trying to go after everyone, you're going to target nobody. The first thing is, they have a problem. Do I think I have the solution? That's the most basic question. Can I help them? If I can't help them, then why would I try to offer my services? But also I look at things like, are they already active in the way I need them to be? So in my case, as an example, since I'm a writer and I'm offering my blogging services, my writing services, do they already have a blog? If they don't, I don't reach out to them, because I don't want to have to try to convince them that they need a blog. It's too big of a hurdle that I've tried it, and it's just not a wise use of my time. But if they already have one and they're active on social media and you can tell they care about their online presence, then great. Something else to consider, their budget. Do I think they can afford me? Sometimes you can see a company's revenue online. Other times you kind of just have to look for those context clues, right, indicating that they have money to spend.
What are the clues that you look for to see if they have money to spend?
I look at their website. I look at all of their social media pages. I subscribe to their email list. First, I want to know, do they have an email list? Are they doing anything with it? What kind of content are they delivering? Are they active on social media? Are they responding to people? What does their website look like? Is it nice? Does it run quickly? Is it mobile friendly? I'm looking for hints that they've already spent time and money and energy building a quality online presence. Because if they don't care about those things, or they don't seem to have the budget for them, I'm not going to be the person that changes their mind. So those are just really simple things you can look at. And I know it all sounds like a lot, but it's really not. You can usually determine this within a few minutes of researching a lead. Like, is this a good fit?
Take me a little bit through your process reaching out on LinkedIn, and then I'll tell you why I'm asking the question.
Okay. With LinkedIn, typically where it starts is I've already found a company that I'm interested in working with, and I search their company page on LinkedIn and look through their employees. And I'm looking for someone who works in the department that I would be working in. So if they have a content department, or if they don't, then a marketing department, because I want to connect with someone who gets me and gets my services. I'm not going to reach out to a sales manager. Why would he care about the blog? And that's the simplest way to do that. Sometimes you have to do a little more digging on LinkedIn, but it's generally just going right to the employees.
And when you reach out to somebody you haven't been connected with, what is the message? How you build a relationship?
I'm very concise and very to the point, and I'm transparent. I tell them, I keep it really short. I tell them my name, what I do and why I'm messaging them. More often than not, it's going to be, I'm interested in working with you on your blog. And it's really simple. And people see that, like my students will see that because I give them all these templates and they're like, that's so boring. I'm like, yeah, it's boring, but it works because, you don't want to try to sound salesy. Like don't try to sell them. Just be like, hey, this is why I'm here, and keep it simple. It works.
I'm sure it does. And the reason I was asking is I'm getting a lot of people reaching out on LinkedIn that I've never met before. And it's not to the point, and it's only about them for like half a page. Or it's, I'm very interested with your profile. Can we connect? And as soon as you accept the connection, you go, and I would love to see how we can be partnering, where they've just been talking about themselves. Can you speak next Friday at 10 or Thursday at 3? No.
Not how you want to go about it. No, I know I get those messages. I'm sure a lot of us do, and half the time you don't even read them. There's a difference between being proactive and being too aggressive. And when I get those messages where it's like right off the bat, like you said, a really long message all about them, it's too much. LinkedIn, what I love about LinkedIn and why it works so well is it's part social media, part business. So you want to be professional, but you also want to keep it casual. If you send someone this huge message that's all about them and they're immediately trying to schedule a call, it's not going to be well received.
Absolutely. And I know you're putting a lot of content out there. So what is your view on the free content, and where does the free stop?
That's a really good question. I'm working on this week, actually. So I'm a big believer in providing free value and giving a lot away because we are all strangers on the internet. Why does anyone have a reason to trust me? So I have to give them a reason. I have to show them I know what I'm talking about, and then this is all my free content. Enjoy. And eventually they get to know you and like you and trust you, and you have that connection. But the best way that it was explained to me is the free content is the what, and the paid content is the how. So what I've been really trying to be better about with my videos and blogs, and even just like messaging people, okay, this is what you need to do. These are the steps you take. And I'll tell them the steps. But then if it's, okay, well, how do I go about doing that? That's usually where I cut it off. And part of that is because, a big part of it is I'm protecting my time. I've noticed recently, actually, that because I'm giving a lot away, which I love doing and I'll always do it, you get a lot of people who schedule time on your calendar and they say, oh, I just wanted to pick your brain for a few minutes. That adds up really quickly. So you've got to have those boundaries, or else you're just going to be coaching everybody for free.
Absolutely. Totally right. You mentioned students. Where are you teaching?
So I have an online program where, in a nutshell, I teach people my process to land clients. So those are my students. Very
nice. It's fascinating what you've built in several years. I'm really admirative of that. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been very fulfilling and very liberating, because it all started, there was this tiny seed, which was freelance writing. And after years of hearing writing is just a hobby, I got from there to here, and I'm still climbing and still growing. And I'm just glad I'm stubborn and didn't listen to anyone. Otherwise, I never would be here.
You mean somebody told you not to do it?
And they didn't discourage me from writing, but it was, writing is a hobby. You do it for fun, and you need to go out and get a real job. I had lots of real jobs. I lost them. So I don't listen to that kind of advice anymore.
That's awesome. So besides writing and working on your business, what is your passion?
Writing.
Really?
Yeah.
So you get books coming out?
I have written 5 books, but because I want to be traditionally published, like through a literary agent, which hasn't happened yet, the books are just tucked away on my computer.
Understood. That's a long process. Absolutely.
It is. It's very long, but it's fun. I love it.
So what can we wish you for the next year and the coming year? Sorry, and then what are the next step for you, and then the milestone for 2021?
Well, my goal for the world is that we kind of turn a corner and get back to a happier place, a healthier place, safer, unified. But I think it goes without saying that what we've experienced this year has probably changed us for good. I want everyone to just go back to a happier place in 2021. For me, that's going to be continuing to grow my business and hopefully helping more people, connecting with more people, even just online. And I just want to teach as many people as I can how to find that financial freedom. If I can do that, then I'll be the happiest person in the world.
That's awesome. Again, thank you very much for joining me today. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Megan Grant, for your time. Truly enjoy speaking with you. A great point you made about the importance of relationship and the importance of looking at your numbers, and also your take on the free value and when does the free content stop. So thank you very much for that. If you want to join us on the Facebook group for people in the meetings and event industry, just go to www.eventbusinessformula.com/group. And you can also link up with me on LinkedIn. Thank you.